We've got some new polling to get to, starting with how Americans view President Trump's handling of the conflict between Israel and Hamas. According to the latest AP and NRC poll, 47% approve on how Trump is handling the conflict overseas. That's up 10 points from last month. That poll was conducted after the ceasefire deal was announced, but before the hostages and prisoners were actually freed. Still, when it comes to Trump's overall job performance, the poll shows that just 37% approve versus 61% who disapprove. 30% say the country is on the right track. 69% say it's heading in the wrong direction. Those are some pretty stark numbers, Joe. The Israel-Hamas part we'll get to later. You know, we see cracks in that ceasefire, real worrisome developments the last couple of days. But in terms of how Americans are feeling about this country, those are pretty low numbers for President Trump, and particularly that right track, wrong track. That's stark and got to worry Republicans ahead of next year.
Right. Well, first of all, anytime you're talking about the Middle East, those numbers are they're going to be difficult. They're going to be tough. Again, if you look at trend lines, the president's up 10 points there. As far as the president's own poll numbers go, they've gone from 37% to 44%. He's probably sitting in most, I know The Economist has him at 40. I think Real Clear Politics has him around 44%. He, of course, despite the constant trolling, is not running again. But I say all that just to say, Caddy, the real number that, whether it's Donald Trump or Joe Biden or whether it was President Obama or Bill Clinton or whomever, they look at right track, wrong track. And that wrong track is staying low. It's been low. It was low under Biden. It's low now. It doesn't help that people turn on the TV and they're constantly seeing, people being dragged out and beaten up. It looks like they're getting beaten up and thrown into unmarked vans by unmarked people. That has a real divisive effect, and people just don't want to see that every day on their television. But we go back to affordability, and it's affordability in homes, affordability whether you can pay your groceries, whether you can pay your rent, whether you can fill up the gas tank, or whether people are having to fill it up halfway because they just don't have enough money to fill it up the entire way. That affordability issue, which is driving the New York mayor's race, is going to be driving a lot of other races over the next year and a half.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest question I keep getting asked, Joe, about America right now is what is happening with the American economy. And you see the stock market booming, driven by AI. But there are clearly signs, and I think some of what you saw on the streets with 7 million people turning out are the signs that things are not great, that there are cracks in the American economy, the affordability issue. Farmers can't sell their soybeans. The tariffs are starting to bite on businesses, on small businesses, and on consumers. People who are growing citrus are worried about whether they're going to have enough workers to collect their crops over the course of the winter. And, you take a whole range of issues. Rents are too high for people. Young people are not able to get jobs. The unemployment number is ticking up. The inflation number is okay, but not great. Growth is less than it would have been. There are a whole range of issues on which the American economy looks fragile, whatever the stock market is saying, and that is what people are feeling. You had them turn out for democracy here, Sam, but I think there are other issues that people are concerned about too across the country, and this question of affordability is something that Democrats are also, trying to latch onto ahead of the midterm elections.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the basis of the government shutdown that's the backdrop to the No Kings protest, right? It's this idea that the Obamacare extended subsidies are going to lapse and that people are going to see thousands of dollars more in health care insurance premiums. And in fact, you're starting to see that sticker shock already as the numbers have gone out. And, by November 1st, it's going to really hit home. So, yes, affordability is central to all this. And then you combine that with what is the sort of core matter of the No Kings protest, which is executive overreach. And Joe referenced it, ICE raids that are just tearing communities apart, executive overreach, disregard for laws, things that maybe aren't front and center of voter minds, but clearly you see in the news, bombing fishing boats in the Caribbean, saying they're drug cartels, things like that, where it's like, well, are things careening a little bit off here? Do we need checks and balances? And I do think there's some potency to that. I know Democrats all the time debate whether or not they should focus on institutional decay and democracy and threats to the Constitution. But I do think for engaged voters, which is really the midterm electorate, is engaged voters, these things do matter. And clearly when you have 7 million people coming out midday on a Saturday, not just in big cities, too. I mean, we were talking to people in small towns, small cities. They were seeing huge amounts of numbers. When you see that, you have to conclude that people are engaged on a whole host of different fronts, one of which is, of course, affordability, but the other one is, of course, threats to democracy itself.
So coming up on
you look at all of those people that are out there. Yes, they're out on a lot of those issues that will drive the base to get out and vote. But at the end of the day, what were we told after President Trump beat Kamala Harris? You guys missed the big story. The big story was affordability. The big story was inflation. The big story was that the economy may have been doing great on a macro level, but it sure as hell wasn't doing well for working Americans and middle-class Americans. They felt like they were falling further behind. They stopped believing that their kids were going to do better than them. Well, you look where we are right now, Mika, and you look at affordability. And as I've been saying, shutdown or no shutdown, health care, like tax credit or no health care tax credit, we all know health care costs are exploding. Your insurance is costing you more. Your denials are coming at Americans fast and furious. Things are not getting covered. And people are falling further and further in debt because of health care debts right now. And it does not help for Republicans that they're the ones saying, oh, well, we have a clean CR, so let's just let the health care costs continue exploding. And I got to say, finally, Mika, something, and this is a sleeper issue people have to worry about. If you're a Republican, there are millions and millions of parents across America who have children who worked hard through school, they played by the rules, they're graduating from college, and because of AI, and we've heard this from Axios, we've heard it from Jim Vandehei, you have a lot of CEOs that are just saying, we're not hiring anybody. We're not going to fire people because of AI, but we're going to let them just sort of go off our employment roles by attrition. When they quit, we'll let them go, but we're not going to fill that position. This is a generational threat. And right now, Republicans have to come up with an answer. You have all of these stupid fights, all of these stupid arguments, all of these phony battles that they're setting up on cultural issues. We've got a real one ahead for Republicans and Democrats to work on, and that is AI taking jobs away from young Americans who are just trying to come into the workforce. This is only going to get worse. And it's only going to get worse for Republicans and for Democrats. But Republicans are in charge right now. Yeah. So maybe they give up on the exaggerations and all these faux wars and saying we're going to declare war on cities. And why don't we all come up with a solution on getting children who graduate from college or graduate from high school or graduate from, well, if they graduate from vocational schools, they'll get jobs. But the other ones not going to get jobs right now the way they used to. And the American dream, which is my child will always do better than I did.
Yeah. That's
vanishing in America. And whatever party figures out how to answer that is the party that wins.
Right. And I would argue that even specific graduate vocational degrees are coming up against AI replacing those jobs. I mean, it is a real crisis. Jobs, housing, affordability, and the Republicans will have been in charge for 2 years. It's going to be a big problem for them unless they come up with some solutions. And